we doing, everyone? It's Odin here from Armored Heaven. For those of you who have missed seeing me on camera a bit more frequently, for whatever twisted reason you may have, you're going to start seeing me more frequently. So we're going to be doing a series of videos where I'm going to pick the parts that I use to do the custom builds that we sell, and we're going to highlight those to you as the customer. So if you're a tech type person, you know what kind of parts I would recommend. If you're just a consumer who's thinking about maybe upgrading their pistol, this will give you more of an insight into the types of parts we use and why we use them. So today we're going to talk about Garda, as we have a whole range of Garda products in store now for you to build your pistols. So I've grabbed a few of our most commonly used Garda parts for both hi-capa and Glock. Now what people don't normally realize is we also have Garda for AEG, so I'll cross that one off first. Garda do a full series of springs. Now the numbers don't mean a lot to us in gel ball. In airsoft they actually represent, I think it's meters per second that these represent. So obviously an 85 is weaker than a 90, which is weaker than a 150, and so on. You get the idea. These are a full oil tempered spring made from proper spring steel. I've used all sorts of different springs over the years, be it Lonex, SHS, unbranded springs, the works. These springs are extremely long lasting, extremely hard wearing, and they don't lose their tension over time at anywhere near the rate of any other spring I've ever tested. They've been extremely well received in the airsoft world, and I'm not finding anything different in the gel blaster world. So these are constantly in stock. We keep a whole range of these, along with all of the normal SHS and everything else that we do have. However, my preference is the Garda. Now getting to the pistol parts, which is why most of you will be here, we now have full Garda slides in stock. You no longer need to buy a donor pistol to create your custom pistol. You can come and buy a full Garda slide. We have them in the 5.1 TM style gold match cut, and we have the 4.3 version, which is cut off there. Now I personally like the 4.3 version with a 5.1 slide, as it is a very classic cut off type look, as you can imagine, with it like that. And of course we also have the slides. Now the Garda Infinity slides have been extremely popular. We've had troubles keeping these in stock. We do have a few here, and we're always having more parts coming and going. Garda blowback unit and nozzles, extremely efficient nozzles. We've actually found in testing we're getting more shots per mag once we convert to a Garda blowback unit and nozzle, and I do recommend that you pair nozzles and blowback units up with the same brand of manufacturer every single time. That's where you'll run into a lot of issues when you're trying to go with a different brand nozzle than the blowback unit. So I always recommend keeping matched parts like that. So that's the main parts of the Kappa. Now if we look at some of the higher end offerings from Garda, so this is one of our Garda G34 conversion kits that's in CNC'd aluminium. So this one is not a cast part like most of the Garda stuff is. Garda cast parts are a cut above the rest as far as quality goes. They're not the pot metal that we all bag out, it constantly breaks and wears away and things like that. They are a proper cast aluminium part. And we'll get into that a little bit more when we start looking at some internals, but this set in particular is a conversion set to take your standard G17 frame and convert it into a 34. Comes with a CNC slide, outer barrel, and your guide rod as well. So pretty much everything you need there to convert it, along with your sights, and you've got serial number plates, and they do all very cool things like custom serial number plates. We've got blank ones, we've got ones with all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff on them. Very, very, very cool. Of course we have Glock slides for you Glock fanboys. We have plain slides, we have Desert Storm slides, we have slides that have holes in them. We have all sorts of slides. We have them for Glock and of course Kappa. I did show the Infinity slide for the Kappa before. Looking over at the shelf there, we've got at least 6 or 7 different types of slides in stock for Kappa, so plenty there. Now when it gets to the accessories and the more upgraded, custom parts or things that you might want to look at changing out as time goes on, or if you were trying to achieve a certain result, on the Glock side again, we have triggers. Now these are the standard style triggers, the plastic one with the center blade. However, they're manufactured to a much more precise tolerance, so these actually improve the trigger feel, funnily enough, on a lot of the Chinese and even some of the Taiwanese pistols. We have things like sights. Now sights might seem like an insignificant thing to most people. However, when you're playing a night game, you probably actually want those sights to glow really bright. Garda got you covered on that. You got a Glock, you want an extended slide release, they got you covered there too. So we've got the extended and the non-extended versions in stock as well. So just little things that you can do to customize your blaster to be a little bit more you, and a little bit more user friendly. I quite like these extended slide stops because it means that it's easier to just swipe your thumb down on the frame and release the slide. And I really do enjoy the high vis glow in the dark sights when I'm playing in whether it be an indoor CQB type scenario, or you know, even on the odd occasion when I get out in the scrub of a nighttime playing a milsim type game. It just makes life so much easier, and not gonna lie, they look cool. Now if we come over onto the hi-capa side here, we have a couple of parts here that I'll get to in a minute, but I'll just cover off on the Garda springs again. So as I showed you with the AEG springs, they also do pistol springs. They do 4-3 springs, they do 5-1 springs, and they also do mag springs. Now the mag springs is a bit of an odd one. Not many people know why we bother bringing these in. These actually work really well in gel blasters to help get your rate of feed up. So typically when gel blasters are manufactured, they use a weaker mag spring so it allows for soft gels to not crush. If you're using something like an ultra hard gel, which is what we use exclusively in our pistols and recommend everyone else does as well, this will work fine with your ultra hard gels, and it will actually help improve feeding because it's forcing those gels up where they need to be, I should say. 140% spring kits, there's not a lot I can say about those other than they do come with the main recoil spring and the hammer spring in the one pack. 140% oil quenched spring. I use them exclusively. They're just the springs that I like using. They say what they do on the packet and they just work and they're affordable. So now we can move the springs out of the road. We'll get to some of the internal parts. Now I've grabbed these purely as an example. If you walked in and said, hey Odin, I need a better trigger response on my hi-capa, what can I do? There's your answer. So the Garda sear for hi-capa mixed with the Garda stainless steel trigger bow, if I can get the light to stop reflecting off that for a second. Those mixed together inside the back of a hi-capa up in here. The Garda sear is proper TM spec. So if you're using an aftermarket hammer, be a Cow, Laylax, insert name here, hammer, they're designed to work with that style of fitment. So it gives you a shorter, crisper trigger pull. The trigger bow I highly recommend because being stainless steel, these are incredibly hard. Now what most people don't realize is when they're slamming on their trigger from the front, this part of the trigger bow actually deflects in and out like that as you're pushing it back. Now that decreases your trigger feel and it gives you that, you know, squishy driving a boat style type trigger. So I always run the stainless steel ones because they're hard and they don't flex. Again, I use Garda stuff because it's extremely high quality and it's affordable. Now to get onto one of the biggest reasons I like Garda, it's their ferric, I think is how you say it, coating. That's the spelling of it there, if I can get the light to stop reflecting off it. Now what that is, it's not a proprietary coating so much as it is, well, it is a proprietary coating. It's just not owned by Garda. It's heavily used in the industrial sector for parts of equipment where they show high abrasive wear over the period of time. Now it coats the material, and you can see that compared to something like a standard one, this piece here looks dirty. Now this is a disconnector out of a hi-capa. Normally would sit up in this side of your pistol frame here, something like so. And it slides against, well actually, sorry, that way if I'm correct, it slides against the frame of the pistol. Now the diferric coating on these, it doesn't allow the wear to happen on the metal. The coating will wear, you know, and of course we always keep our pistols lubricated so we're not rubbing metal on metal, but the coating will wear whilst the base metal doesn't. So that's what this special coating that Garda talk about is. It actually stops the wear of the base metal. Now it's not a replacement for oil or grease. You still need to use oil and grease. However, it means that if you maintain your pistol with these parts in there, it's going to last a really long time. Now that's not to say there's not other good parts out there on the market, but there's nothing out there with the value of this. And that's why I love the Garda parts so much. They are affordable, they are becoming easier to get as we're bringing more and more stuff into Australia now, as global freight's starting to free up a little bit and we can get things through. And yeah, there's not a whole lot more I can tell you about that. The coating on these is an industrial coating, as I said. It works really well. Yes, they are a cast part, however, I'm yet to see a single Garda part break, fracture, or wear out. I have seen some abused parts show some advanced signs of wear, but you're going to get that if you don't maintain your pistols. So I highly recommend that you do. That's a bit of a brief snapshot about the Garda product. Now we'll go back up top and we'll do the outro. So that's a brief snapshot of the Garda lineup. We have parts coming and going on a daily basis. We're forever getting new stock in, and we're forever running low on some items as well. So if there's anything that you've seen that you want, come in and get it now. Send us a message, give us a call, get on the website, check what we've got in stock, and get hold of it when you can get it. Global freight is a nightmare at the moment, so when we have them, we have them. When we don't, we don't. But I suggest that you grab them while you can, because they are an extremely high quality part that I use and I recommend, and I've seen go through hundreds of thousands of shots. With that said, everyone, I'm Odin, this is Armored Heaven. Have a great game.
Another Gel Blaster review by Armored Heaven.